What is up, historians? Thank you for tuning in to Rant episode 35, a historic podcast. We specialize in everything historic. That includes historic brawl as well. We are the Dorks. My name is Michael Apollo, and as always, I am joined by DrunkenDork.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And once again, Hoshi cannot be here with us today. Not only is he filming for the new horror movie Leprechaun Returns, but he was actually also found by another Hollywood producer to be cast in the reboot for Willow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As none other than Willow himself.
Nice. I'm actually proud of him. That's a sweet movie. I loved that movie when I was younger. Still good.
Me too.
Still holds up well. Val Kilmer, man, murder in it,
Yeah. Unfortunately, Hoshi will not be Val Kilmer. He'll be the short sorcerer in training, Willow. So apparently his height is much to be desired. Sorry, Hoshi, I had to do it to you, bud. But as I said, this is Rant episode 35, and the way that our show works is through the actual phases of Magic. We have our Untap, Upkeep, Draw, Main Phase, Combat, Main Phase 2, End Step, Cleanup, and our Discard. Our main topics for the night, we'll always be talking about our Reddit Rant, Apollo's, this guy over here, Wildcard of the Week, and Metagame Showcase. As I stated last week, I got that tier list made, so we'll go ahead and discuss that further. Finally, for Combat, we have our horseshit card game, and actually, finally, again, we're going to be talking about Strixhaven mechanics. The upcoming set, we have some mechanics that were spoiled, so we're going to dive into that a little bit later in the show. At any point in time, if you're watching on YouTube, you want to skip ahead, feel free to do so. We'll put the annotations in the episode below. So let's get her started, and just like you start every game of Magic, we unstart with our Untap set, and that's where we untap a drink of our choice. So,
all right. Well, let me finish the drink I'm currently drinking.
I'll probably be doing the same. Nothing special on my end. I'm just keeping it kind of light. Some truly original lemonade. Nothing special. What are you drinking this week?
Ooh, baby. I got a Goose Island Little Risk. It is a session stout at only 100 calories for this whole can of stout. I am excited for this shit. I've been wanting and asking for a light stout, and I'm pretty sure the Goose Island boys or girls, whoever's over there, watched the podcast and they heard my wants, my needs, and they made this for me personally.
your cries. No, that is awesome. I love the future, man, especially the future of beer. Like, that is crazy. They're able to make still craft brews, but light on the calories. Yeah. It's so wild. Well, cheers it up to you, buddy, and cheers to all you out there, and let's have a good episode.
Cheers. Yeah.
All right. After our untap step is our upkeep. That is the Reddit Rant. Usually Hoshi takes care of this one, but he's not here this week, so we're going to take over. The Reddit Rant, that's where we scour the internet for insane psychopaths and crazy people who complain about Magic the Gathering. Magic is a game that incites a lot of anger and frustration, so, reading these rants can be quite hilarious, whether we agree or disagree. So this is something I found off the MtGHistoric rant or Reddit, and it is from Kale Thevane or something. I don't know how to say that. But it says, I am so sick of getting claimed and cat ovened. Is it just me, or do these really need to go? I think this is Hoshi in disguise, but let's read on. Fucking hell, it's just not fun anymore. Maybe it's because I play a lot of elves? It's been like a year now. These things have been happening in Historic, and many people complain, like me. But is it really that oppressive? Am I just being salty? I don't know. I like to have self-awareness, so I'm not going to instantly condemn these things, but it's just so annoying. I'd honestly like to see Claim the Go. Dreadhorde Arcanist going wouldn't be bad either, honestly. And simply because Cat Oven is just a slog to click through, Cat going probably wouldn't ruffle too many feathers. But like I asked, is it just me? Well, he asked. What do you think?
Boo-hoo. Yeah. It's just you. Yeah, I mean, it's not just you. It's Hoshi, too,
Yeah.
and, like, I'm sure many other people, but, like, this can be dealt with, you know? And it can be dealt with pretty easily.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, hey, there you go. You know, or like many of the other things that are in the, you know, many sets is just like exile effects and graveyards, you know, like doesn't just have to be rest in peace. There's like, I don't know, scavenging ooze. That's an amazing way to get rid of it, right? That's an amazing way to just shut that deck down. So, meh.
Yeah. You know, you want a box of tissues with that Thoughtseize?
Yeah.
'Cause I got a lot of them. No, I have to disagree with this as well. I mean, I guess I can understand the clicking frustration, right? Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But as for the card itself, I don't care about it at all. And why is it not going anywhere? Well, because the strat's good. And as long as the strategy's good, it's going to stay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, I know Hoshi hates this. I know he completely agrees with this guy. There's so many different ways, right? Like almost every color, definitely artifacts, like in the sideboard. There's ways to deal with this, right? To completely shut down these decks. You know, it's rock, paper, scissors. I don't know. You're playing elves. I don't know. Play best of 3 and get a sideboard. You know.
Bang bang.
So yeah, that is our Reddit rant. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. And Kale the Vane, you are an insane psychopath, and we love you.
Yeah. Good rant.
So yeah, good rants. Now we go into our draw phase, and that is just what Magic formats, or what have we been doing in the world of Magic this week. So I'll turn it over to you, Drunken. What have you been doing this week in Magic?
Well, I've been doing more than just Magic in the world of Magic, but I'll probably touch on it in the end step. I have been playing Historic, and I have been losing a fucking shit ton, man. I have just, like, it was really bad. Actually, I was losing a lot, and then today I was like, you know what? I'm sick of best of one. I am getting, like, I'm getting fucked. Like, it was some misplays for sure, so it was part me, it was part the game, just, like, drawing into a bunch of lands or drawing into a bunch of garbage. And so I decided to start playing best of 3 today, and I won like 4 consecutive games playing best of 3, and I was playing your favorite, Gruul. And my God, it's just so strong in best of 3. It's like, what I don't like about best of 3, and tell me if I'm wrong, is I'll play someone game 1, and then they'll just fucking concede after that. And then you don't get a full rank up, right? Is that correct?
I think I've actually have encountered that where I wouldn't get the full blips, you know, like the little ticker, that ranks up. Yeah, I think like if they just straight up concede the entire game, I think you have to go to game 2 to get the full game wins.
I'm not sure, but I've noticed that, or I thought I noticed it at least. Maybe it just wasn't showing after, like maybe there's some glitch where it just doesn't show it happening, but it does happen. But yeah, it was just like game, you know, once I started playing that in best of 3, it was just like game after game after game after game I was winning. It's just really good. It's a lot different than the Gruul I'm used to playing in best of 1. And I like it. I really, really like that green-red god, that Gruul god. I think that card is so sweet, and I brewed with it a lot when it first came out. I fucking love it, the one that exiles things out of graveyards.
Oh, hey, Clothis or whatever?
That takes care of Cat Oven too. There you go.
Yeah. That card is resilient as fuck, dude. Like,
yeah,
that card
it's
is
super
so
good.
Strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, main board, sideboard, it's really powerful.
Yeah, so I have just been losing a lot of best of 1, and then today winning a lot of best of 3, and I think I'm just gonna stick with best of 3 for a while.
Good man. Yeah, agreed. Best of 3 is far superior.
Mm-hmm.
As for myself, I have not been playing too much, but I have been studying a shit ton about Historic, mainly because in the upcoming phase, the next one, the Metagame Showcase, I really wanted to get a lot of good relevant information. So just pretty much just studying how the meta is developing, what cards are relevant, what decks are relevant, stuff like that to give you guys some good info. As for playing, like I said, I haven't been playing too much, but yeah, best of 3 Gruul is just where it is for me. It's just the deck I know the most, and honestly, like blue white control, I would really love to play Bant Angels, but holy shit, is that deck Wildcard expensive? Like, I still can't build the deck. It says I still need 11 rares.
Wow.
And I thought like I had pretty much like a lot of the deck, and apparently I still need a lot. So
yeah, you know what? I'm going to touch on that real quick because after our last podcast, I was making some B-roll for the YouTube version of the podcast, and I played the Bant Angels deck. I made it, because I already had Angels, or Celestial Angels. I made Bant Angels, and I tried best of 1, it didn't work. I tried best of 3. It works, man. That deck works well.
Yeah,
for sure.
Super powerful. And that's going to actually lead us into our next segment here. Main Phase 1, Apollo's Wildcard of the Weekend Metagame Showcase. As I discussed last week, going forward, we want to talk a little bit more about best of 3 competitive. Sometimes we might switch it up to best of 1, but considering that I'm a best of 3 player, I'm going to stick to best of 3. And as I promised, once a month, we're going to actually have a tier list. And I devised this tier list, and I think it's pretty accurate. We'll go ahead and discuss it. But before we get into the actual tier list, I want to talk about this week's wild card of the week, and that's going to be Collected Company. A lot of decks use Collected Company, and if you rares and mythics, as me and Drunken have discussed many times on this episode, are hard to come by. There's a lot of rares to be burned. Yeah. And if you want something that's going to be consistent and definitely stay until it gets banned, which I don't see it being banned, it's Collected Company. Yeah. A lot of decks utilize it. The Angels deck we talked about utilizes it. Gruul utilizes it. So many ramp decks utilize. Elves. It is such a consistent catch-all card. So if you haven't and you got some wilds to spend, get this card. It's going to take you far, and a lot of these decks utilize it. So after that, we're going to go into the actual tier list here. And right now, we'll go ahead and pop it big on the screen so you guys can see it nice and full. So what I have devised here is tiers going from S plus to S, A, B, and C. The reason why I did S plus and S is because I don't think it's fair to have decks that are in D, because a lot of decks are actually pretty good in Historic. It's just some decks are just more consistent than others. Yeah. So I'm just going to go straight down. If you have anything you want to chime in or anything like that, feel free. But just so you know, the left to right, I know a lot of tier makers, for fighting games and stuff like that, sometimes the more powerful one is on the left. It's not like that at all. It's just these 4 in S+, and so on and so forth. So I have Azorius Control, Gruul Aggro, Bant Midrange, also known as Bant Angels, and Jund Sacrifice. Do you have anything you want to say about S+?
Yeah, it sounds good. Those are all legit decks. Jund Sacrifice, I've definitely noticed the games it wins, it fucking wins, and the games that there are some decks that just do really good against it. So it's weird seeing it in that class because those decks that do really good against it just fucking break it. The problem with those decks is they don't do good against some of these other decks. So that's why Jund Sacrifice belongs up there. I like them all. It's good. I'll stop talking.
Yeah, no. Something that you've mentioned quite a few times, well, all of us on this show, is the Magic the Gathering is a rock, paper, scissors format, right? And these 4 decks actually fit that bill perfectly. Obviously, Control, and then we have Gruul Aggro, and then we have, Bant Midrange, right? There's the 3 right there. And then Jund Sac kind of fits in halfway between combo aggro and midrange. It can shift gears very drastically. These decks, they're here to stay. They're only going to get more powerful unless something gets banned. But if you want to take these decks and you really want to climb up the ladder quickly, these 4 decks will take you there. But it must be prefaced that they all use quite a bit of wild cards, especially rares.
Yeah.
Now, these next 3 decks are in the S class. In no means, shape, or form, or as I go down these decks, like, worse. But, they just lack some pieces. Or maybe some stability to keep them up the rank above. So the next 3 decks I have is Rakdos Arcanist, Azorius Auras, and Mono Green Elf Ball, or just, elves. So, S, what do you think about these 3 decks?
Yeah, they're good. The only one I'm weird about in that is the Rakdos Arcanist. But I have seen that deck go off, and it is good. I guess I haven't played it in best of 3, so I wouldn't know. But in best of 1, I've definitely the elf just runs over this deck, and Angels runs over this deck, and there's quite a few decks that run. Goblins can run over it. So, but hey, if you think it is, I believe you. It is a sweet ass deck. There's nothing more frustrating than playing against it, and then they're attack with the Arcanist, then fatal push my dude twice, 2 turns in a row. It's frustrating. But.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience with auras. I don't need to discuss it very much. It's a very resilient, very strong deck, but I think just compared to the ones in S+, it's just it kind of taken a step back, but it's still extremely powerful. Rakdos Arcanist, same kind of thing. Hand disruption is real. It is definitely for real. It's really good in best of 3 because it doesn't really hinder its strategy from sideboards. If you're taking stuff out of your opponent's hand, it doesn't matter what they're siding in. But again, the reason why it's not an S+ is because of cards like Rest in Peace and stuff like that, which exiles Graveyard. So it definitely can lose some steam after sideboard. And then obviously Elf Ball, I'm not surprised. We got so many good elves from the last set, and it really kind of pushed this to the top. It finally has a lot of the great pieces, things like Allosaur Shepherd, Elvish Warmaster, Collected Company. These cards just kind of create that synergy, and then obviously you get your your big top end beater, Craterhoof Behemoth, and this deck can definitely close out games. Now, as we go down, same kind of thing. They're playing a lot of the same strategies, but again, it's different color combinations. They lack certain cards. They're just not quite there yet. They're cute pet decks, or not really pet decks, but they're just lacking a couple things. Another strategy can do it better, and that's going to be the A class. So I have Grixis Control, Mono Brown Ramp, or commonly known as Colorless Ramp, and then finally Sultai Ultimatum. Have you seen any of these decks at all?
In best of 3, I saw Grixis in there. Mono Brown, no. It just doesn't work in best of 3, I think. The sideboard's too strong against a deck like that. And then the Sultai thing, no. I have seen Sultai in best of 3, though. Not the Ultimatum, though.
So Sultai Ultimatum was Sultai's answer for losing Uro, and obviously it's nowhere near as powerful, but it does do some really cool stuff with obviously the card Emergent Ultimatum, I believe it's its name. It's able to still ramp efficiently, and then being able to get some really powerful Planeswalkers off the top. So that's how that deck tries to win, and then Mono Brown, ramp. We saw a lot of it in the beginning a couple seasons ago, but it's kind of fallen off. That's why it's an A. It's really cool when it works. It's, really powerful, but it's super weak to aggro and creature rush strategies. It just gets pummeled. They really depend on having Karn and Ugin out. So, and then Grixis has been seeing a rise because of a cool little interaction there. Grixis is a really cool tap-out combo strategy. So as opposed to blue-white control where it wants to leave its mana up, Grixis control has no problem tapping its mana. It has really strong creature removal and removal in general. And then I forget that card, but it's the card that I talked about last week where you can exile a permanent and then cast it for free. So you use Tybalt, and that's the only reason why I think this deck will see more play and a higher rise, because getting Tybalt, the Planeswalker, is so powerful. That card is so strong, and getting it by turn 3 is pretty game ending, I would say. So
Yeah.
really powerful there. And we're just going to really quickly go through these decks in the B and C tier. So B, we have White Weenies. We also have a deck that I talked about a couple weeks ago, Blue Snow Tempo. We have Goblins, of course, which is really taken a step back from
It has.
What from S plus all the way down to B here. And then we have Jeskai Control utilizing Torrential Gear Hulk. And then finally in C, we have Death Shadow and Teamer Mutate. One of the cards that was spoiled that Hoshi was talking about actually became a deck. Someone actually made some decks with it. Do you have anything you gotta say about any of these 6 decks, these last 6? Yeah,
I mean it's shocking to me about Goblins, but yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, Goblins really shines, I think, in just best of 1. Best of 3, there's just too many answers across the board. A lot of decks can handle Goblins now, especially now that Control's there, and there's a lot of good like creature removal.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like taking a step back, which is good because it's good to see decks like shift up and down, because a lot of people used to complain that like Goblins were just too powerful and Muxus needed to be banned. Hoshi, that's you. Or I think he actually doesn't like Skirk Prospector. I think that's the card he wants banned. But yeah, Death Shadow, yeah, once again, a cute deck, but there's just decks that do it better without having to like lose so much life to get it going. But that is the tier list. I do want to say that all these decks that I have talked about have all made it to Mythic. So, of course, the impossible can happen. You guys can all very much get these decks into the Mythic rank. But, just some do it better than others. So let us know in the comments below, what do you think about this tier list? Do you have any changes that you'd like to make? Is there a deck that I forgot? Obviously, there's a lot of fringe. I can't put everything up there. But I think like these 16, I think it's 16, is pretty good. So let us know in the comments below. And, or join our Discord, please, because we can talk a lot about deck strategies and stuff like that in there. Moving on, we go into our combat phase. Horseshit card game. Grand
Oh, yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that was a real shocker. You took everyone by surprise on that one, and I like it.
Literally the world by surprise.
Yeah, the world of 20 people who saw the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a horseshit card game, and this is a game where I open up a pack of cards and I name 3 to 4 cards, and it's up to this drunken idiot to figure out. Let me redo that. So I open up a pack of cards. I name 3 to 4. One of the cards is fake, and it's up to this drunken idiot to figure out which one the fake card is. So I'm going to open up this pack, and I'm playing with Ixalan today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love that
fun set. Yeah, it's a super fun set. Me too. And hopefully I open something good. I don't really remember what was in this set. But, that's a cool card. That's a good card. All these cards are like fucking Pringled for some reason.
Not surprised.
Right? Alright, that's a good one. That's a good one. And I think we are good to go.
Cool.
Are you ready, Apollo?
I am.
Okay. So the first one is Brazen Freebooter. It is 3 and a red for a creature, human, pirate at common. And when Brazen Freebooter enters the battlefield, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap. It does, what fucking treasures do. Anyway, The next one, Spire Winder. It is 3 and a blue for a creature snake. And it's at common and it has flying. And it says Ascend. Do I need to read Ascend?
No.
Okay. Spire Winder gets +1/+1 as long as you have the city's blessing. Alright. Mm-hmm. Final one. Soaring Predator. It is 3 white for a creature dinosaur at uncommon. And it has flying. And it is a 5/5. What do you got for me, Apollo? While you're thinking about this, I will tell you the sweet rare card I got, which is one of the better ones, I think, for Commander out of the set. Tender Shoot Dryad, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's a good pool. So the second card you named is a little suspect. I don't remember that snake, but the first one is also pretty suspect. I'm pretty sure the card is Kite Sail Freebooter, and I think you took Brazen Borrower and put that on that, and then made some text. So I'm gonna go with my gut on that one and say the first one, Brazen, whatever.
Freebooter?
Yeah, as horseshit.
Pretty good logic there, dude. But it did nothing for you because you're fucking wrong.
The snake?
No, it's not. It's a fucking dinosaur. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Back
I made a simple ass dinosaur this week because sometimes I get a little overcomplicated with my card making thing. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add a send, and then I'm gonna add fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought you added some treasures and shit.
Yeah. But no, it's just a basic ass flying dinosaur.
Well, congrats. DrunkenDork gets it this week. Yay.
Yeah, baby.
Back to where I belong on the loser's bench.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. Did you get the card right, or were you right like DrunkenDork? Well, I guess he's not really picking. He already knows what's right. So the true dummy is this guy right here. So
always.
Moving on, we're going into our main phase 2, our main topic for tonight, Strixhaven mechanics. So Strixhaven is the newest upcoming set. And today, actually, Wizards of the Coast has posted an article discussing some cool mechanics we will be experiencing. Strixhaven is going to be like themed around like Harry Potter, so there's going to be like schools of mages, and each of like the color guilds are going to like mean something different, kind of like what like Guilds of Ravnica did in the past. So just gonna like kind of go through this article here. You know, it's talking about lessons learned. So the first ability or mechanic that we have here is Learn. This is a really interesting one, but it says Learn. Now, a card will say Learn, like kind of like how a card will say Trample or Flying and something like that, right? So the card says Learn, and then it says, you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. What this means is, like, if you have a card in the sideboard that is a lesson card, I guess I'll talk about that too. Lessons are like a new typing onto sorceries and instants. Something that can be comparable to is in the past we've seen like Eldrazi tribal sorceries or elf sorcery tribal, something like along those lines. So we'll have like, in this instance, it's colorless. I don't know if the lessons are going to be all colorless, but it's
they're not. No,
they're not. Okay.
No.
So yeah. Okay. So what do you think about this mechanic? What do you think about this new ability?
So I'll first start. Yeah, I think it's powerful. I think the potential there is really high. Not all colors have the ability to fetch things out of your sideboard, and if they put Learn on every single color, then every color is going to have that potential, which is, you know, adds another card to your deck, maybe, you know. It just depends. Like, it really comes down to what Learn is attached to, and also what the lesson is. But I'm going to read one lesson to you, and you can say, like, how powerful you think it is. It's Confront the Past. It is X and a black. It is a sorcery lesson, and it says, choose one. Return target Planeswalker card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whoa. Or remove twice X loyalty counters from target Planeswalker an opponent controls.
Whoa, that's really unique.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Onto the battlefield, man. Like, that's strong. Like, in some type of like control deck, like maybe Esper Control or something, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you know, like, this is what bothers me about it. You don't know what the cards are they're going to have learn on. I mean, you do know some, but you definitely don't know the scope of it. Like, if they make some really good learns and some really good lessons, like, I think this is a pretty good lesson, then, like, I think the potential is really high here, and, like, you know, they could actually do some really broken shit, I think. There is a potential for that. But, yeah, what do you think?
Honestly, I absolutely love it. Something that we've seen WotC do for quite like some time, like for a few years actually, is be more creature heavy, and I like that they're going back to some good old school spellslinger stuff, you know, and they're not just like, you know, wash, rinse, repeat. We're not getting like flashback again or something like that. They're creating something new, and what's cool is this creates like an option. You know, you can get something out of your sideboard if, you know, you have a lesson that's relevant for that moment, or you can just discard and draw a card. You know, like that's value right there. And then obviously, you know, whatever the card itself says that has learn on it, you get that as well. Something I've noticed from this set is that it's very spell heavy, instant and sorcery heavy, and I think that's like really cool direction. I think they're really taking this like Harry Potter theme in a cool way, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think I really like the theme of this set a lot.
I really do think it's not going to be broken at all. A lot of people online have been pretty scared about, you know, spellslingers copying instants and sorceries can get pretty out of hand, yada, yada, yada. But we already have like a really strong creature base that's going on in Historic. And I think having another option creates new deck ideas, new archetypes. Yeah. And that's something I'm really looking forward to for the future in Strixhaven. Okay, so the next mechanic we have is Magecraft, and Magecraft is different depending on the card. So let's just go ahead and read what WotC says, because each card will have something different. But Magecraft is an ability word that highlights triggered abilities that give you some sort of benefit whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. So the card that they're talking about is called Eager First Year. And it has Magecraft. When you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Eager First Year gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So let's say you cast a sorcery spell, then it gets +1/+0. And then in response to your own spell, you cast an instant that will copy said sorcery. Well, you just cast a sorcery, so now you get another +1/+0. Then the instant resolves and copies the sorcery. So now you got that copy, another +1/+0. So this little 2/2 just became a 5/2, and it's able to swing in. So kind of like a weird prowess, you know, like really interesting. But something to notice here is that, once again, all the Magecraft cards will have something different. So there's another card that's spoiled called Archmage Emeritus, and he is a human wizard with Magecraft. And it says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. So it seems like the theme here is you got to cast an instant or copy. You got to cast an instant or sorcery or copy said instant or sorcery, and then you get like a trigger. What do you think about this?
I think it's really good. Once again, the potential is really high. Prowess. Even though you don't see like a lot of prowess running around in Eternal formats, you do see it. You know, there are the red spear fucking, what was that card?
Swift Spear.
Yeah, Monastery Swift Spear, is that it?
Yeah. She's super powerful.
You know, you see cards like that where the potential's high, right? Like this, like you said, you touch on it. This is a pseudo prowess, where like if you're just gonna combo off with spells, it's good to have something like this on the battlefield. I think that they're not gonna break this. You know, they're not gonna make like overly powerful cards, which is a good thing, but. Let's hope we see at least a few cards that can make it into Historic, especially. You know, like, I don't know exactly what they're going to do with this Magecraft. It's like you said, they've touched on it differently in each one of these schools, you know, what these cards do. Like one gets +1/+1. One, like, makes people lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. And, like, I mean, that alone can be incredibly powerful, right? Like, if you can combo off, like, it's black and green, so you add blue in there and you're in the colors of mana ramp and casting, you know, a bunch of spells. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like both of these abilities. And I didn't say it with Learn. I meant to say this. I really like that Learn, even if you don't have the card in your... I mean, you mentioned this. Even though you don't have the card in your... or even if you don't have the card in your sideboard anymore, you can still draw a card, discard a card. I think that's a really good additive to that.
Options are always better, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, but I like it. I give it a thumbs up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just calling it right now, making a prediction. I think this can go into like that Boros equipment thing. I think it might be turned into Jeskai. And I think we might see a new archetype that used to be around during... oh my god, not Theros. Oh my god, like Frontier Bivouac. What was that set?
Concept Tarkir?
Yeah, Tarkir. I think we might see Jeskai Tempo. Just calling it out there. I think these cards are not broken, but we might get to see a new archetype. Moving on, another one that we have is Ward. Ward is pretty unique. It's really cool, though. So, Ward is whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays X. Now, I say X because it's actually different for every card. The card that they spoiled is like a Jin Wizard, and it's a Ward 2 colorless. So, you know, that person would have to pay 2 colorless to make sure their spell doesn't get countered automatically. But, you know, other cards can have something in the form of even more mana, colored mana, life, something. Sacrifice, permanent, I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But all we do know is that when you target it, it has like a pseudo hexproof, and the spell will be countered unless you fulfill its requirement. It's pretty cool. Cool, like kind of like pseudo protection, pseudo hexproof. What do you think about Ward?
So first, I want to say they mentioned this is a new evergreen card ability. So basically, what that means is going forward, you're going to see this in every set, just like you would see hexproof. You would see trample, you would see, you know, all those abilities you're used to seeing. Ward is going to be in there from now on, and I like that, you know. It's interesting. They don't have anything interesting released yet on Ward. They only have Ward 2 colorless, you know. But, like, yeah, Ward pay life. Ward, like, I love that. So if you're, I'm assuming that's what they're going to have. They're going to have some red cards that are like Ward 3. So like target it, and or you know, Ward, you have to pay 3 life if you want to target it. Like how good is that? That's what you want to see on your red cards, you know? That's the kind of shit you want to see. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Or like maybe on a blue card it's like Ward I don't even know how they would word this, but like the player, this card is warding, draws a card. You know, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Like how far they're going with it. I mean, I know it says, but I don't know what they're gonna do completely. And I like it a lot. Like I really just like the fact that it's not just pay mana. It's not something boring like that, because you know then it's just like it's like every fucking mechanic that's already existed, right? This spices it up a little bit, and yeah, I think it's cool. I don't think it's super duper unique. Like I don't think it's as powerful as the other 2 mechanics, or the potential is as high. But I think in the decks where you want to be aggro and having that ward pay life ability, I think it's going to work really, really well.
Yeah. And something I want to end with before we go on to the final one, you know, some people have like a little bit of confusion out there, especially if you're newer players. What is target and what is like a world ability, right? And so this includes like auras. If you're trying to like enchant it, that's targeting, right? And something that WotC like says here is this includes aura spells. It's important to note that any spell or ability controlled by an opponent can be affected by ward. Triggered abilities and anything else that targets a permanent with ward. Spells and abilities that don't target won't cause ward to trigger. So like Overloaded Cyclonic Rift, Wrath of God, any kind of like world ability effects, world will not affect it. So if you guys are wondering out there, that's a little bit explanation on how ward will work. It has to actually target the card and for the ability to trigger. And then finally we go into more modal double face cards. WotC has expressly told us that they love dual modal and they want to keep going with it. We're not getting any lands though. They have said that in this article. There is no dual modal land faces in this set. But again, the way that dual modal works is that as you are casting the card, if you're able to fulfill the cost, you choose which side that you are playing, unless you can do something a little tricky. But however, there's a difference between casting and playing, right? So if you are playing the card, then it's always going to be the front face. Right, like you play, it's kind of weird, but there is rules, and we've seen this in Modern actually with Cascade and stuff like that, being able to like cast Tybalt for extremely cheap, because you know the way that's a whole nother thing. That's Modern, but just want to go ahead and preface that there. As long as you're casting it and you fulfill the cost, you get the other side. So dual modals, we're seeing them again. We talked about a couple of cards in pre-production. Obviously, we need to see the whole set, but for right now, what do you think about the dual modals?
I mean, I like them. I think it's just, it's good. It adds more variety to deck. It adds like an extra card to your hand. I think it's cool. I want to keep seeing it going forward. I know a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people do, and I'm definitely on the side that does.
Yeah. Agreed. I really like it. It adds more variety. It's just like another card. And as we already said, options. Options are great. Options are key. And being able to have one card that can have a dual option depending on the situation, I think is like completely relevant. And I highly dig it. So those are the Strixhaven mechanics that have been released so far. It is unknown if they're going to release any more. They haven't said that they're not going to, but they also haven't said that they are. So what do you think about the Strixhaven mechanics? Do you like them? Do you think they're completely broken? Obviously, we're going to need to see more of the set to make a decision.
Hold on.
What?
I want to know, before we move on, actually, because it sounds like you're moving on.
Yeah.
What do you think overall? Like, what do you think of these mechanics? Not knowing a lot of the cards that are printed, obviously. How do you think it's going to impact Historic? Do you think it's going to impact Historic at all?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's going to impact it in a great way. I think it's going to make a more diverse meta. A lot of people complain and shit talk, worst set ever, worst set ever, worst set ever, worst set ever. It is so fucking annoying, dude. But they have been proven wrong every single time, because there might not be the best set ever, but something I have stressed completely on this show, it's not about making the most best broken set. It's about adding to the game and adding to the format. And specifically in the format of Historic, all these sets have been adding a lot. Like, this is one of the most diverse formats I have ever played in. Regardless of how much Arena frustrates me, Historic is one of my most beloved formats, on top of Commander and Modern. It's extremely diverse, and I think these mechanics are going to make it even more diverse. Spells matter? Fuck yeah, dude. Like, I am completely down with that, because it seems like one thing WotC is doing right is when there is a little bit of stale, like, it starts getting a little stagnant, then they go ahead and change it again. and now it's spells matter, like that is
Yeah.
completely cool. And I think these mechanics kind of fit that properly. And maybe not in this set, but definitely going forward as we get more anthologies, more cards added in to support these mechanics, it's only going to get more powerful. We're going to see even more decks, a more diverse meta, and a bigger headache for me creating tier lists, for sure. What about you? What do you think about this set as a whole?
I think the mechanics, I like them a lot. And I think the potential is really high. It really, it just depends on what they print. I know, like every set, there's going to be cards that make it into Historic, because Historic, it's not super deep yet. It's only as far as whatever the last one they put in was. But I like them a lot with that said, yeah. And I really hope that this lesson and learn thing, I really hope they dive deep with it, and like they maybe print some more lessons later on, or move this skill or this ability into other sets, because I like that kind of stuff, especially anytime you can dig into your sideboard for free and add that extra card. As long as the learn card is good, and the lesson cards are good, there is very high potential for that. And then same thing with Magecraft. I really like prowess. I really like storm type abilities. So anytime you can storm off with something is what everyone says, because that was like the original, prowess, in pseudo, in a way. Anytime you can storm off with something, I think there's a high level of potential there. So I'm excited. I am very excited.
Let me ask you this. So in the past, we've seen Wizards try to add some new mechanics and new abilities and stuff like that. One of which was Party, which I think was a complete failure. I think the only deck that actually utilized Party was Bant Angels, because they're able to use clerics and stuff as well. But as a whole, Party kind of failed, right? And there were some cool cards there, but we don't see them at all. So do you think these mechanics are better than Party? And do you think they're going to stick around, or do you think we're just wishful thinking?
I mean, I think lesson learned can easily go into with Party. If they don't print good stuff, then there's no point in playing them. There's almost no point in playing them. So I think that's one. I think Magecraft, though, there's gonna be cards that are used with Magecraft. I think anytime there's a prowess type triggered ability, there's much higher potential for this, because the card pool is deeper, right? Where learn needs lesson and vice versa, Magecraft only needs instants and copies. So
and that's something you're already gonna have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, because it's already non-dependent, right? It's a very independent card or ability, because you're gonna, regardless if all the instants and sorceries in this deck in this set can suck, but it doesn't matter for Magecraft. You can just take a really good Magecraft card and then use what you've already been using, Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really hope that we see some cool decks around this, but at the very least, I just hope it just strengthens the format.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts on the new mechanics for Strixhaven?
No, I'm excited.
Super excited. So let us know in the comments below. We want to know what you guys think about the mechanics, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe, click that bell notification. If you're listening on wherever you get your podcasts in the world, be sure to check out our YouTube and do the same. Also, join our Discord. Join in the fight with us and be a fellow historian as we go ahead and talk about deck ideas, deck strategies, play each other on Arena. And also, you are able to get the first look at the episode streaming live on Twitch TV and be able to discuss future episodes with us. So please be sure to do that. It will be greatly appreciated, and we'd love if you were. So moving on, we're going into the final segments of the show. We're going to go into our end step, and that is just anything else that we want to talk about. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything that you have? I think something came out from WotC, right?
Yeah. So the beta of this Magic Legends, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Came out, and I played it today, actually. and which is a few days after the beta officially came out for everyone to try. And it's definitely a beta, I will say. There are a lot of problems with it. I've had a lot of texture pop-ins and outs. I've noticed frame rate drops. I've noticed endless monster spawning. That's one that really bothered me, because I'm kind of like, when I'm playing video games, I'm a completionist. I'll like go in a corner. I'm like, I'm just gonna kill all the monsters here. But then I noticed it was endless. I was like, oh. So I guess I'm just gonna stand here forever unless I move. But besides that, I actually really like the game. It's been a long time since I played a Diablo-like, and that's basically what this is. And I think it's fun. It's really fun exploring the worlds. Like, I was just on Zendikar. Have you played that one yet, Apollo?
No.
Okay. Have you only played the intro?
Yeah.
Oh, you should play beyond the intro. I think the intro is the worst part of that.
Yeah, it seems like
which is really bad, because, like, if you want to get someone to play a game, the intro should be the best part, right? Because they're going to play it and they're going to be like, wow, this is garbage. Like you, for example. And you're like, I don't want to play this anymore. It's just a waste of my time. Well, no. After the intro, the game gets like exponentially better, and I really like the card system of incorporating Magic the Gathering into it. So basically, you cast a spell, and once you cast that spell, it gets shuffled into your deck, and you get another random spell that you can cast. And like, there are spells, like I had got one that takes like almost all your mana. But it's like this massive spell that like almost kills everything in proximity. So, like, you cast it, you don't get any more mana until you kill more things, like with your regular hits or whatever. But, it's powerful. And like the fact that it shuffles in and like you get random spells, it's just a unique way of doing it. Like, that way you can build your own deck and make your own like style of playing, which I think is really cool. Like, randomizes it a little bit, and a little bit of randomization I think is fun.
The idea is really cool for sure. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't go with the MMO routes, but I mean, I love my MMOs. At the same time though, I am glad it's a Diablo game, because I can still play Final Fantasy and not have to not play it, and then I can get like a Diablo fix, because Diablo games they're dope. Like, dungeon crawler kind of games, they're badass as fuck. And so the idea is really cool. I just don't know if they picked the good game dev to work on this game. The idea is really cool, and I really hope that they fix it, a lot of it, because there seems to be a lot of problems. For me, I was doing the intro, and there was battle animations, and there's like Ral Zarek, and he's fighting someone, and it'd be like, there's no sound, and Ral Zarek's like, whoa, and there's no sound when he crashes into a mountain, and then it calls him Man in Blue, or Man Wearing Blue. And I was like, wait, it already said his name was Ral Zarek. Why is he saying the Man in Blue? And then he's like, my name is Ral Zarek, and then on the text it says Man in Blue. So I'm like, okay. Those little things like kind of bug me, but I mean, the game seems cool. I'm going to play it. I'm going to get past the intro, but yeah, I think you're completely right. Like, to cook me, they should have like really worked on that intro. I
will suggest though, if you like those types of games, and so once you get past that part, Apollo, it does definitely become more of an MMO. It's not like Diablo, in where you just go into dungeons and you queue in with other people. You go into like a hub world or like into these worlds like Zendikar, and you can walk around and there's just people walking around killing monsters near like other players. So cool. It's not the same thing. And then from there you find like dungeons like Diablo, like you go over to an area, like you complete a quest and it sends you to a dungeon. And then you queue in with 3 other people and you play.
I mean, I'm completely down. I'm going to keep playing the game. And something like that we were talking about, we're actually going to stream. So check out our Twitch. We're going to be Twitch streamers, and we're going to start streaming this game. Hopefully Hoshi can get on, because I think it's like 3 people parties, right?
4. I think it's 4. Is it 3?
I was reading today that you can go with 2 other people. So I thought it was like perfect for us.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is 3. I didn't realize that, because there's so much shit happening on screen. I was like, I thought I was with 6 people at one point, but then I looked down and yeah, maybe it was only 2.
That's another complaint, like the visuals, like really like discombobulated. I mean, there's a lot of things that they need to do, but that's what happened with Arena, right? So yeah. I hope that they put a lot of time and effort into fixing bugs, getting the game more polished, fixing like little, patch issues and shit like that, audio, video, clip outs, frame rate issues. I've been getting those a lot. Really hope they do that, and I really hope they do not make this a pay-to-win game, because this game dev, I forget their name off the top of my head, they are known for pay-to-win. So I'm really scared about that. I mean, they already got loot boxes and stuff like that, but I really, really hope, because I do not want to pay a dime into this. Arena is already breaking my bank. I don't know if I can pay.
The way I look at it with these type of things is like, it's like Arena. If I play the game for 10 hours, to me that's worth $50. Because if I'm gonna I'll buy a game for $70 and I'll play it, and it'll only be 6 hours long, So for me, it's like if I play a game 10 to 20 hours, that's worth $50, and then I'll pay for a battle pass or something. Like I paid for battle passes for Apex Legends when I was playing that a lot. Just so I can get more loot and stuff. So if I end up liking this game and playing it longer, I'll probably do something like that. But
yeah, if they polish it, what they should have, and which I've seen some other games do, is like an introductory bundle or something like that, or like the collector's edition bundle or something, where I pay $50, $60 or something, and I get some really cool shit that makes like the game really, really cool. Not easier, you know what I mean? But yes, I do agree. Obviously, I don't want to completely play it for free, because obviously I give Arena money, I give WotC money regardless. But if there is a one-time fee where I can pay $50 and I can get X, Y, and Z, that would be really cool. What I'm not cool with is if you keep doing these loot boxes, there's chances you might get, fuck you, dude. I'm not giving you hundreds of dollars for just chances. You know what I mean? I can do that in Vegas and lose more. So, yeah. As for myself, Magic Legends is out. That seems really cool. I'm super excited for that. Man, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Can't think of it though. Something new. Oh yes. So I've been working on the new song for our channel. I've been working on some new plugs to make the channel a little bit better, stuff like that. And I already kind of mentioned it here. We're going to start streaming, and I'm really excited to do that. But I really want fucking Hoshi. Get on, dude, so we can figure out what mage you're going to be, and then we can start, leveling together in Magic Legends. That would be, that would be pretty dope. So yeah, that is our end step. Now we go into our finals 2 phases. Our cleanup and our discard cleanup is just social media promo. And, oh shit is right, brother, because it's coming up soon. Social media promo, that is just where you can find us on wherever you get your podcasts, all that good stuff. It's YouTube. You're going to see it blown all over the place right now. And then we finally go into our discard phase, where we finish whatever we have been drinking.
Oh my god! Oh!
Yikes! I thought this was your favorite.
Yeah, no, don't ever say that to me like that again.
yeah. Unless it's a full beer.
No, baby, talk to me. Thank you. Right.
Oh no, that's just for Hoshi.
Yeah.
All right, cheers everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers everyone.